Hey everyone, I'm here with David Phelps, one of the co-founders of the contest platform JokeRace, who's completely changing the game on learning and building in Web3. We'll be talking weddings, hackathons, and more.
Oh no, we have to talk about the wedding. Oh damn. Yeah, I didn't know this before I got trapped in this call. Oh shit.
Okay, let's go.
Sick.
David, what do you and the Olympic gold medalist Michael Phelps have in common?
I would say it's our fish-like frame. Our intense predilection for aquatic sports. He has potential. He has some real potential to live up to the Phelps name, I think. No, I'm like a squat potato shaped, like human. I have clearly physically no relationship to this man, and I'm extremely jealous. I wish I resembled a fish. But alas, that's not what nature had in store for me.
No, neither me as well, unfortunately. Maybe also determination, motivation, something in there to do with Mr. Phelps.
I hope so. I mean, I definitely don't have the determination he has for swimming. I will say that we just gotta find our proverbial lane, I guess.
Cool. You had a pretty blowout wedding at ECC last.
Thank you.
I was not at the wedding, but I was at ECC. How did you find yourself in that situation? It was with Cami, wasn't it?
It was with the love of my life, Cami, who I have not seen since. But one day, I'm sure we'll find each other again. That was one of my favorite trolls, I think. I don't know. I do heavily subscribe to the theory that good marketing is good trolling. As you can see from certain leaders of the free world today. So was really happy, I think, not only with the wedding and how it went and, all the support from Eigenlayer and Barachain and making that happen. But I was also really pleasantly surprised by how many people thought it was real and as a result, hated it. And, were sending me something close to death threats. That really meant that I succeeded. Really pulled it off.
Were you getting that much abuse? Was it on
Twitter? There was no direct death threats, but there were definitely there was a lot of questioning of my T levels, as one does on the internet.
I think they're just jealous.
I should probably have my T levels, I guess, studied. Maybe they're trying to tell me about some medical issue and I should know about.
I was saying being jealous of marrying Cami, but yeah, sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I would personally love to marry Cami as well. So I feel that jealousy too. Completely understand.
What was your story into crypto? What's the beginning?
Beginning was my friend telling me how amazing it was that you could buy drugs with Bitcoins. And it was like, a cheap 300 or 400 Bitcoins, to get a pack of powder in the mail. And I immediately ignored this. I think that's really important to remember, right? Like if you look at the OGs and you're like, wow, these are the people who understood technology first. 99% of them were just buying drugs on the internet. That's why they're OGs. It's like the people that we look up to. It's like they were there to buy drugs on the internet. Honestly, respect, like true libertarian ethos. Fighting the government for those free markets of powders across the world. So yeah, that was my first missed opportunity. It was also a missed opportunity for my friend who was spending hundreds of Bitcoins on drugs. I got really into it in 2017. I had a failed startup. It was failed for a number of reasons, but I think one of the big ones was it was auto pay for freelancers to automatically get paid from clients. It was an issue I was running into myself as a freelancer. Wanted to build something I would use. And nobody wanted to, accept the credit card fees. And neither the client nor the user wanted to pay credit card fees. And I just thought, this is crazy that we have to build all these money processing tools to handle all of this. And the only kind of permissionless system we've created to be able to quickly transfer money is a credit card. And then they're charging these exorbitant fees that you don't really need with a blockchain. So I actually got into it from an anti-credit card viewpoint, and I read the Ethereum white paper, and I was just like, this makes so much sense that you can build these, programmable money, right? They can, you literally can design money to do what you want it to do within the software system, and that's sick. Which is funny now, I think, right? Because like obviously credit cards are some of the major users of crypto, and I don't think they're going anywhere. But that was really actually the quite boring. I think an initial impetus was like, oh, this is disintermediate, kind of the proposition for every really, really big business ever built is it just disintermediates unnecessary middlemen. That's it. And it's like, it's a very boring value proposition. No one gets excited by this. This is not what gets people riled up, but it is what makes a great business. And it is why crypto ultimately will win is you can cut out a lot of middlemen and just, you can transact faster and cheaper. And like, that's worth a lot. It's worth a lot to be able to transact faster and cheaper. Like that's the history of the entire world is like finding ways to transact faster and cheaper. It's like you get that horse and you no longer have to run across, 300 miles. Like the horse was the cryptocurrency of, the Stone Ages, I guess. So I think, yeah, this is an ongoing kind of meta. And I just find it crazy anyone would fade this, frankly.
It's actually really interesting now just seeing like how stable coins are now infiltrating like the actual real world right now. I just run a newsletter with Yellow Card app writing this. It's awesome. Like, but behind your startup though, like what's your story behind JokeRace? So, you obviously got wrapped up in a great way to buy drugs. And then you saw that it could also just create permissionless and programmable money.
Yep.
How did you get into JokeRace? What was the problem that you were seeing and why did you want to solve it?
It's such an interesting question because I kind of subscribe to the belief that most great apps are not built off of problems that they solve. They're built off of new experiences you couldn't have before. Like, I don't know that Nintendo was solving a problem necessarily, but it was creating an exciting new experience for people to play in. With that said, I was seeing problems. So I was very deep in the DAO space in 2021, and DAOs were fucked for a lot of reasons at that point in time. But one of the main ones was that you have people espousing this belief in decentralization, which makes sense for technology and a validator set. It's like you need to have permissionless ability to verify that transaction is legitimate, right? But that is very different from fully decentralizing like a system where anybody has an ability to make decisions. And so you're running into one of two things. You're either running into like a kind of tragedy of the commons situation where you're having a bunch of people who all get to step up and there's no hierarchy and there's no delegation and there's no division of labor. And so everyone is just kind of repeating each other's work or not doing the work at all, right? Because it's a mess. And there's no fundamental like project organization going on. Or you end up on the other side where, and this is true for most blockchains, I think this is true for most DAOs, is like they're just tyrannies. Like literally there's one person who is making the decisions, everyone else is accepting it. Which works, I think, far better than the formal alternative, but it's very far from ideal. And so, it was really coming from the space of being like, oh, people are joining these DAOs because they're excited to have input, but then they don't have input, right? Like it ends up just, like the only way that they're allowed to have input is just to vote on boring decisions that other people are making. And they don't actually get to have like their own voice heard in any unique way or to actually fight for the things they believe in. And so we were creating all these voting tools that were just like vote on what, proposition the leader wants, and you get two choices that are almost identical to each other and not that meaningful, and then you wonder why people aren't participating. I think what's really perverse about JokeRace is like that our solution to this problem in some ways is actually to charge people to vote, which feels totally counterintuitive, right? It's like if people already don't want to vote and they don't want to participate in these decision-making systems, like then for free, why would they come in and pay to do it? But the answer is financial incentives, right? Like once you can start layering in on-chain financial incentives and take advantage of the chain, like you can do a number of things. You can first of all open it up for anyone to enter. So you can now have more people actually getting their voices heard. They can then go campaign. They can then be earning from the money that is being made. They can choose to distribute that how they want. You could be building, prediction markets on top of these. Like, so you can gamify a lot with the financial piece of blockchains that actually can make it really exciting to make decisions in a fun, gamified way. And I think like that kind of is the opportunity for blockchains in many ways that is very overlooked, which is like actually blockchains are more fun because there's more incentive space that's out there. And this is very hard for people to understand because it's like, you know, the experience so far has been 1, terrible UX, and 2, losing all your money. And neither of those is particularly fun. And so I think like, you know, a lot of my battle day to day is figuring out, okay, how is the UX here actually better than what you get in Web 2 because you get all of these financial pieces you can get before. And, you know, how can we actually make this like fun in a way where, you know, people should not be losing all their money like that should not be the end game of like what we're building. You should be able to build on-chain reputation. You should be able to build communities. You should be able to find other people with your alignment in terms of your voting tastes and preferences, and just building off of the programmable money and the programmable data that the chain gives you is really itself extremely valuable as well.
A really boring question off the back of that, but
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued. What is the business model to JokeRace?
Yeah.
How
so
do
we
you guys make money?
Yeah, we split charges. So people pay to enter, people pay to vote. If you create a contest, you can set whatever charges you want for people to pay to enter and pay to vote. Many contests are designed really to be almost non-monetized. Like, you know, they're making a couple dollars and their goal is not the money. Other ones are very much designed to be monetized, and you have people spending tens of thousands of dollars on them. So, you know, we want to open up that spectrum for people. Like, we want people to be really degen or not degen as they want, and really give them that kind of optionality in how they customize these. But we're like, look, if you make money, we make money. If you don't make money, we don't make money. Like, we want to align ourselves basically with the contest creators. And then we split with them. And so it's that simple. And then they have programmable money, and they can keep that, or they can put that back into a rewards pool. They can send it to another address. Like, they can do whatever they want with all that programmable money to design how that money is split and where it goes.
That's awesome. That's brilliant. Is it the I wanted to ask, like, what's been your biggest learning through building JokeRace, and how difficult has it been monetizing?
Oh, good question. Biggest learning, I don't know. There's been so many learnings. I do think like so much of our focus at the beginning was really on these kind of like entry-based contests. It was really about like opening up the design space for people to have their voices heard. And like, I think what we've realized is like actually the engagement often comes from the voting piece. And that's really interesting because, like, you know, originally we were like, nobody wants to vote. How do you solve this? And so I do think actually the completely counterintuitive take that people paying to vote is actually gets them to vote more. I do think is kind of like the secret recipe in some ways for what we're building. That is a totally counterintuitive insight, right? Monetizing is not that difficult. I mean, you know, it's all about incentive alignment, right? Like, ultimately, there's 3 parties involved in the contest. There's a contest creator, there's the people entering the contest, and there's people voting in the contest. And so I think like aligning ourselves with the contest creator is really important, because then they can earn money and they can use that to align themselves with other parties if they need to, or they can keep that for themselves. And there's just a lot of marketing advantages in having these leaderboards that are out there that really can't be botted. And so that part's not hard. The challenge always, right, with crypto is scaling, because every crypto product that's really succeeded has succeeded off of whales. And so no crypto product has ever really scaled. OpenSea probably came the closest, but like, you know, successful products are ones that have like 100 billionaires using it in crypto. And because you're able to charge, you're not charging SaaS fees, you know, to millions of people, you're just charging based on, you know, that a few specific transactions that earn a lot of money. It's been really easy for crypto to build that way and not worry about mass adoption. And I think like, you know, the challenge for us in building, and this is the really fun challenge that I'm really excited to take on, is like, how do you build something that like, has the advantages of the crypto economics, where it's like the more people are paying, the more money you're making. You're not doing a SaaS fee that is constrained. You're capturing consumer surplus, but like also can actually scale to a broader audience because this is relevant for them. And I think that's really the opportunity for what we're doing. But it's also in many ways a challenge. Like there's been no app that's gotten mass adoption really in the world in about 10 years. Be Real is probably the closest, right? So like, it's a really fun kind of challenge, I think, to take on.
And as a co-founder, what is the superpower that you bring to the table?
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about my co-founder Siobhan. I mean, she's just like she's a killer. And I think like I feel really lucky to work with her because we're very, very different in terms of what we like to focus on. And that's really like diversity just matters a lot. Like if you don't have diversity, we would just be focusing on the same things, and then we'd be doubling up efforts and probably at each other's throat. And then all the other parts of the company that really need attention wouldn't be getting attention. And so this is just why I'm a believer, like diversity really, really matters. Siobhan is just like a killer on the, I think, tech infrastructure and operation side. And I think I really do more of the kind of like frontman BD, representing the company, and then also the design. So, you know, it's almost like you have a front end co-founder and a back end co-founder. And I would say like Siobhan's actually the one who in many ways is like, you know, internally leading the company, very much, you know, I think coordinating everyone we work with, and like making sure we're on track for infrastructure and really like leading technical decisions. And then I'm kind of like the I guess like the frontman founder who's like kind of representing and marketing like all of these decisions that are being made in some ways. And there's a lot of overlap too. Like obviously, like, you know, this is both our company and we're both ultimately the decision makers together. And but it's been really nice, I think, to kind of have that division of labor, because we both get to do the things the other one probably would never want to do. That's been really great. Yeah,
You really need those people. Like my co-founder Callum and myself is just like, he's just sick at sales. And I've come from a finance and strategy and VC background, and our tech CTO guys come from, and like you just have to have that division of labor. And you know, it's
hard to find. I mean, you know, similar people tend to gravitate towards each other, and I think you run into this all the time with organizations where they're like, let's hire other people who are like us, you know, let's hire other people who think the way we do and believe what we do, because of course those are the people you gravitate to. You want to be affirmed and validated, and you want to be able to talk to other people about the things you're excited by in the same way. And it's actually not nearly as good as having extreme diversity, you know, an approach. I will say, I think what is really nice is both Siobhan and I are really excited by the tech. Like, she definitely is like, I would say like the tech lead, like she's the technical one, I'm the non-technical one. Mm-hmm. But like having that shared excitement just over like what is possible with programmable money and programmable data at the end of the day is kind of what animates both of us. And that's what makes it also just really fucking fun to work together.
The shared passion, 100%. That is the same as myself and Callum. So it's like literally exactly the same. Shag, shoot, marry. Chief marketing officer, chief commercial officer, chief finance officer.
This is a fuck, marry, kill. Is that is the British fuck, marry, kill? Okay, wait. Who do I have? I'm marketing, finance, and who?
You've got your CMO, your CCO, and your CFO.
What's CCO? What does that one do?
Commercial officer.
What the fuck is a commercial officer? Who are they?
You heard of sales? Can
I kill all of them? I want to kill all of them. Like, sorry, those are founder jobs. Like all of those, the founder should be doing those things. Maybe CMO is valuable keeping around. I can keep the CMO around, but like, no, ultimately I believe like, I do believe you want founder leading these things. And it's like, if the founder's turning to someone else for these answers, like, it can be great to have an advisor. It can be great to have mentors. It can be great to have people you work with who can like really give you feedback and push your thinking and question what you're doing. Because you never, you know, obviously 100% know, but like ultimately, I think you look around in crypto and you look around in the intentional economy today, and it's like, you know, the more the founder can lead, the better. And I've seen this with major chains. Like, you know, I look at Berachain or Mega ETH, and it's like the amount that, you know, like Smokey or Shuyao as founders are in the trenches with the builders themselves, just personally working with them is extraordinary. And it's like, I compare that to a lot of the lesser chains where they're delegating out to 8 people in the chat and everyone is turning to each other and nothing's getting done. Mm-hmm. And it's like, all these companies think that if you hire a bunch of people, you're going to somehow scale a lot stronger. And the opposite is true. You end up with all these massive coordination costs between like different voices fighting each other and like turning to each other and depending on each other without actually a leader at the helm. So I'm gonna go with killing all of them, and like that should be a founder.
But you might save the CMO if they're nice to you.
CMO. Yeah, marketing is really important. And that is one where I can see the value. So
you tweet a lot about marketing.
I do tweet a lot about marketing. Yeah.
Do you think Web3 has a marketing problem?
Web3 has a massive marketing problem. It also has part of the reason it has a marketing problem is because it has a marketing solution, right? Like tokens are a marketing solution because they get people really excited about a project because they have upside and they can earn. But there's issues with this, and one is that that's only limited as long as it goes up, and as soon as it starts going down, no one is excited by the project anymore. And so the marketing solution becomes a marketing problem when you have a community turning at you for losing their money. Is one. Two is that's really encouraging farmers. It's really just encouraging pure mercenary behavior, right? And a lot of people can just get ahead to dump it. And then three, I think, is just the self-reflexivity of crypto markets means people are always looking for the next thing. And so everything becomes a pump and dump in the end. And so I think, yeah, crypto has a massive marketing problem because we have used tokens as our marketing solution. And tokens actually are a short-term great marketing solution and long-term a very bad one. You actually need much more than that. I think you need a genuine community, but they also need to have financial upside, and balancing those things I think is really important. I think about this with contests all the time. It's like contests need to have rewards. You need the financial piece to get people interested, but for them to actually stay there and play the game has to be fun. They have to be like working with a community, fighting for votes, and like in a way where they're actually building social relationships. Like the financial piece can acquire you, but the social piece is what retains you. And I think like a lot of crypto marketing is just focused on the acquisition piece, and it's not focused on the retention piece. Because it's purely focused on the financial aspect. And so people think they're good at marketing because they have a token. That's not being good at marketing. That's unless your goal is to cash out with a Ponzi, then sure. But like if your goal is not to cash out with a Ponzi, that's quite bad marketing because you're going to get rugged by your own community like very, very quickly.
Exactly. Like in terms of first principles, that's exactly the mindset. It is pure short-termism. If you're not thinking about like the sustainability of the community and then actually like people genuinely loving your product.
Yep.
I liked one of your other tweets, which was about your key traits of hiring.
Oh, interesting. I don't know. Do I remember this one?
Well, I suppose you tweet quite a bit, so I'll remind you.
Yeah.
Key traits to look for in hiring someone crypto native. Actually uses the chain.
Oh yeah, this one. Yes.
Has gotten rugged before.
Yes.
Is in minimum 3 cabals.
Yes.
Is politically radical in literally any direction.
Correct.
Extremely distracted by cats.
Mm-hmm. Got to be a cat person.
My cat's in the room right now.
My cat's around here.
Yeah. I can see in the background the levels.
I got the cat tree. Yeah. We'll never use. But the expensive cat tree made it for her, and she scorned it immediately, and we'll never go through it. Yes,
classic cat move ever.
Cat move. She's like, I want plastic straw wrappers only. Only those are up to my taste. Yes.
Knows what ZKT and MPC mean.
Yeah.
Has no idea what sex means.
Yeah, well, unless it's a CEX, and then that's okay. Yeah, you can know what that means.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So on that last one, I think you're looking for people that are abstinent, just people who are not sexually active. They just want to focus on work.
You just don't really know what it is. Like, like I prefer they've lived in kind of a dungeon their entire life, just, caved off from the world, only seen GitHub. That's all they know. That's really your ideal, right? Like anyone with a life experience, bearish, just very, very bearish. Yeah. It's like, why you like sunlight and like enjoying the material things around you and the green grass and the wind in your hair? What the fuck are you doing here? This is a miserable space. You're not supposed to enjoy life. Get out of here. Yeah.
You're so not cut out for this.
Yeah. You're not cut out for this. You like life way too much to be in crypto.
I know we're going to jump in a second, so I'll ask a couple last ones. What's your favorite movie?
Playtime, Jacques Tati.
Say again?
Playtime by Jacques Tati.
Playtime.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to watch that.
It's the best. It's the greatest film ever made.
What year are we talking?
1968. Tati spent 10 years building an entire fake city purely for the film.
Wow, so you're a movie buff.
I am a movie buff. That is true.
I'm glad I asked. Lastly, what book have you read that's most impacted your life?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say probably the book I actually think most about is Bleak House by Charles Dickens. I don't know if it's my favorite book necessarily, but what Dickens gets at in that book, you know, Dickens is like kind of a great poet of industrialization. But I think like what he gets at in that book is specifically transactional relationships, and like how this is something I think we navigate a lot in crypto, where it's like we have all our friends, but we're also working with them, but we're also trying to build each other's value in a financial space. And Dickens almost like kind of foresees that in a way where it's like it's about the legal profession, but the ways that all of these like relationships with each other become legalized and become professionalized in a way that they can become quite transactional. And that boundary between what is a real relationship and what is a transactional relationship, I think it's a big question for the 21st century, in particular, where everything has become capital, social, you know, your friendships are now social capital. So that's literally, you know, the transactionalization of relationships. So yeah, I don't know. I would in some ways I would say Bleak House is maybe the book.
I love that, especially as the industry we're in is quite literally tokenizing everything.
Yeah,
making everything transactional.
Yeah, literally, and that's the promise, but that's also the curse. And I think Bleak House really gets at that kind of moment of transition where everything becomes the cold hand of the law.
I'm gonna read that book.
British.
Cool.
Yeah.
Of course it's British. Yeah. I just never read Bleak House by Dickens, so that's next on the list.
It's a beautiful one. It has the most beautiful 21st pages of any book, where he describes the fog descending on London, and it's just it's a masterpiece. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we've run over, so I thank you for hanging about for a bit longer.
My pleasure.
That's it. That's basically it, David. Thanks for being my very first person on Dude, Where's My Startup?
Fucking love it. Yeah, this is great. Excited for this. Thanks, Dan. We'll talk soon.
Cheers, man. All the best. Bye.
Bye.